here right now. I need you to take him out on the road and show him the ropes. Yes, sir. No problem, sir. Have a good afternoon, guys. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Lord. 𝐤𝐤𝐭𝐡 This is Officer Bling. Charging anything. Main Officer Sing. Yo, awesome thing. Cause when we step up on the road, any minute must overload. Yo, Mr. Body Agitation, license registration, everybody up again. Yo, Mr. Pulling at the corner. Me just smell some marijuana. Mr. Stop the clean, you should have never seen it. Everybody up to get charged. Lady up to make it, money up to next Monday. Come and walk on a new chain. I'll be rent up, you still get paid. And if you get cash, like me with your side piece. On the C1, pass it right in. And if you like talk of my people business, you gotta get charged same way. Cause when we step up on the road, any minute must overload. Yo, Mr. Body Agitation, license registration, everybody up again. Yo, Mr. Pulling at the corner. Me just smell some marijuana. Mr. Stop the clean, you should have never seen it. Everybody up to get charged. Yo, Bling, yo, I have to tell you something. Some people on the road, they deserve a charge. Like some always crying rough, but them still living. And some gas light on, but them still driving. And what about the regulars that wear the tight too? Yo, you still want makeup? That's a charge. Oh, sure. So if you borrow with the clothes, you borrow with the credit, that's a charge for sure. I know they gonna regret it. When we step up on the road, any minute must overload. Yo, Mr. Body Agitation, license registration, everybody up to get charged. Yo, Mr. Pulling at the corner, me just smell some marijuana. Mr. Stop the bleeding, you should have never seen it. Everybody up to get charged. Every time the one Bling see me, squaddy me ain't got no money. Boss, I got the explanation for the situation, and all you want to do is just every time you see me with my girlfriend, that means not a bad person. Yeah, why when you see me, come around me fun like a man, go be out for take charge. Cause when we step up on the road, any minute must overload. Yo, Mr. Body Agitation, license registration, everybody up again. Yo, Mr. Pulling at the corner, me just smell some marijuana. Mr. Stop the clean, you should have never seen it. Everybody up to get charged. Take charge.
Yes. Yes, folks. Good evening, and welcome to the program this evening. My name is Randolph Critchlow. We're happy to have you here. We started the program there on a little light note. I wanted to start the program with something local that was charged coming out of Calvin Burnett and Officer Bling. Sean Thompson there, my good friend from theater, Sean Thompson, who plays Officer Bling, and of course, Calvin Burnett. Everybody knows Calvin. Calvin is a big singing Guyana. That song there being produced a few months ago by Joe Too Cool Production, Joel Brown. Joel doing good work there at his studios, Joe Too Cool Production. We also want to give them their props, folks. Give them their props. Go to YouTube and like the song and share it around. The song is charged. Local music, folks. Local music. Thank you very much for being a part of the program. Of course, you know, we do it. How we do it in the program here, we like to let you go in the comment section and let us know where you're joining us from. Welcome every single one. Welcome everybody who's joining us from locally, internationally, in the region. You're on to the Weekend Rush. You're tuned to the Weekend Rush. My name is Randolph Critchlow, and we are going to be going through some very, very interesting bits of information today, folks. And of course, we're talking about your wallet. We're talking about money. We're talking about what the government is doing in terms of cost of living. But let us know where you're joining us from. Delaware is in the house. Good night. Good night to our friends looking at us on YouTube. Folks, if you're looking at us on YouTube, remember, Jamal Aziz, good evening to you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for tuning in. Yes, thank you very much for tuning in, Jamal. All of those persons joining us from all over the world. Let me just play a bit more of this and we'll come back to you folks. We just play a little more of the music. Of course, we have our guest this evening. We have MP Maureen Philadelphia, and of course, we have MP Nima Flubes who will be joining us. But we want to give you a bit more before we start everything on our side. Let's go.
Right now, leave you, take him out on the road, and show him the ropes. Yes, sir. No problem, sir. Have a good afternoon, guys. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Lord. Production. This is Officer Bling, charging anything. Me and Officer Sing. Yo, awesome thing. Cause when we step out on the road, any mini bus overload. Yo, miss a body citation, license registration. Everybody off again. Yo, miss a pulling at the corner. Me just smell some marijuana. Mister, stop the bleeding. You should have never seen it. Everybody have to get charged.
Sorry, folks. Sorry about that. My mic was muted. Let me just say that we're shouting out all of the people in the comment section who are tuned in. Sorry about that. Sorry about our audio. We were saying shout out to all of the good people who are joining us. Taz Thomas from Meadowbrook joining us. All the people from Berbice, Barbados, locked in from Canada, Caneville. Thank you very much for being a part of the program. We want to say big shout out to you. Big shout out to all of our good friends who are always tuned in. Thank you very, very much for tuning into our program this evening. Right. So we're going to get to it, folks. We're going to get to it. I want to show you this headline as we get into it. Thank you very much to all the persons tuning in. I know we had a bit of audio problem just now, but we are fixed, and we are ready to go. Right. NYC is in the house. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. Yes, folks. Sorry about that. Bit of technical difficulties we're having here, but we're going forward. Yes, as I said, folks, we're going to open the phone lines about 8:45 and give you a few minutes to share your views. But we're going to be talking the economy. We're going to be talking the cost of living with two MPs. I'm honored to have two MPs joining me tonight. MP Maureen Philadelphia and MP Nima Flubes. Sorry, Nima, give you a different name here. I want to welcome them to the program this evening. Good evening, folks.
Good evening to you, Randy, and all your viewers. I'm happy to be here with you today.
Good evening, Randy. Good evening to your viewership. I'm so happy to be with you here tonight so that we can share, we can talk, we can unpack.
Definitely. We're going to be unpacking some credible and valid information for the folks. The good folks who are joining us from all over the world. Right here, we're seeing people looking at us from New York, from Antigua, from Barbados, from St. Lucia. Jamaica is in the house also. We're going to be unpacking it. The program is titled For the 4.7 billion more for what? Oil money being spent, but are you or better off. That is our focus this evening. And MPs, I know that you are preparing for Parliament on Monday, where the Minister of Finance will be trying to justify asking the government of Guyana for, not the government, well, the asking to take $44 billion out of the coffers for, as they deem it, developmental works. Developmental works. And I want to share this headline with our viewers, and we'll use this as our jump-off point for the discussion. Let me share this particular headline with everyone. Right? Let me just go up here. I don't know if you can see it. If we can see it, right? I think we can see it. Right, great. That's it. That's the headline, folks. That's the headline. Over $44 billion in supplementary funding sought in support of major developmental initiatives. And that is what is being discussed tonight, folks. That is what we want to be discussing as we look at what this government is doing with your money. With your money. Let me just go through this to the persons who are joining us. Yes, Sandra is saying all the billions spending and we're worse off. Let me just go through this and read the first paragraph for you. Right, this is the 21st of July, 2022. Supplementary funding to cater for a range of developmental initiatives countrywide, including provide additional resources for Amerindian and hinterland communities, infrastructure development in new and existing housing schemes, and improvement and expansion of coastal and hinterland water supply, among many other. And we'll talk about one of these other things, other areas, were today sought when the Senior Minister of Finance, Ashley Singh, presented a supplementary appropriations bill to the National Assembly for 8th sitting of the 12th Parliament. And let me go back to the top so we keep it in focus. I'll bring the MPs back in here now and let us discuss this issue. Let me start with MP Maureen Philadelphia. The people of Guyana see these monies being spent, and in general, they hear billions here, billions. Now we up to about $8 or something billion from the Natural Resource Fund. Do you believe that what the justification is, and we're going to come to cost of living, do you believe that those justifications that the PUP is giving are urgent enough or more urgent than the cost of living that they refuse to debate? Your thoughts on this $44 billion that you're going to, well, I don't know. I think you're one of the suspended MPs, so I don't know if you'll be a part of the session. What is the case with that?
I thank you very much, Randy. I am suspended and I wear it as a badge of honor. I was suspended for defending the NRF bill because we've decided as members of Parliament representing the people, no thieving bill must pass. And so collectively, we decided that because the Speaker will not allow us to dissect and to represent the people who would have placed us there to represent them, we've decided that we're going to adopt another approach. But nonetheless, I'm suspended, and like I said, I wear it as a badge of honor. And I want to say this based on the question you would have asked. I see no justification for what they're bringing to Parliament tomorrow, asking for in excess of $44 billion. Justification for that. They're basically saying that it's for developmental works to new housing scheme. They spoke of monies there going to pay arrears of rentals and these kind of things. And you would have rightfully alluded to, Randy, that we recognize in the rising cost of living, which may be an effect of the Ukraine war and all of that, we would have tabled a motion in the name of Arnett Ferguson in January, after surgical mutilation and begutting. That motion reached order paper for Parliament on the 21st of July. On the 20th of July, Honorable Member Ferguson received received an instrument from the Speaker of the House saying that that bill will not be entertained because there are terms there that contravene. And I want to say that motion, I have not seen any words within that motion that speak to us instructing the Parliament to withdraw money from the consolidated fund to cushion, to pay persons, to cushion the effects of the cost of living. And so, while we recognize at this juncture we should be talking about the cost of living, how we are affected as Guyanese. Nothing on that supplementary budget is dealing with what systems the government put in place to deal with the rising cost of living. And at this juncture, I'm saying to you, while they're coming for that, we saw a big blow up with the CEO and the vice chair of 𝐤𝐿𝐿, but yet quite a lot of that money, 2 point something billion of that 44 billion, they're asking for that for 𝐤𝐿𝐿. And so these are my few cents as I begin, or we begin our discussion.
We're definitely going to go into detail in terms of 𝐤𝐿𝐿 a little later down in the program. I want to bring in MP 𝐸𝐸 here. I know that you have your program, and I know you touch on some of these issues on your program. I want to hear your take on this supplementary budget. Supplementary bill is going to be brought before the Parliament come tomorrow.
My take on this particular approach, what comes to mind, I would think of family planning a budget. And then after planning the budget, they recognize that, you know what, the money can't do. So we got to get some more money to subsidize or to cover whatever cost is there. And the amazing thing about that is that when I think about budget 2022, I always keep this little book. When they had budget 2022, it's 4.3% larger than budget 2021, and it is $552.9 billion. And it was supposed to be the largest budget. Now, what happened to this largest budget that the PPP government would have put together? What happened to all these monies that now you're coming to us with a new heading, over 44 billion in supplementary funding is required? And the amazing thing is that when you go through the document that they submit, I'm yet to see all this emergency and urgency that this money is supposed to be covering as against the high rise cost of living that is taking place currently in Guyana, and families are struggling to survive, and they did not allow that motion to go through, which we see, and I'm quite sure the population of Guyana knows is absolutely important. The amazing thing is that you ain't see no monies in here for an increase in wages and salary to help our people who are struggling at this time with the largest budget that they had passed just in February. People are still struggling and trying to see where the dollars and the cents are. And yes, our people are not benefiting from this money that is being asked for in the right way. And as we go through it, I'm quite sure our viewers will have a better understanding of what exactly they're asking for. My comrade earlier mentioned 𝐤𝐿𝐿. When I go through this supplemental, I see how much more money is being asked for 𝐤𝐿𝐿 specifically, and yet still Guyanese have to go and line up to get sugar. What is really going on in Guyana? What is this administration really doing to our people? Definitely, they're not looking after the needs of our people. Definitely not.
Yeah, definitely. Because I will ask, and there's a burning question. What is more urgent than the cost of living? What developmental project, initiative, as they said, and let's put this up for the viewers to see. Let me see if I can put it up. Right, for the viewers to see. Supplementary funding sought for support in major developmental initiatives. What developmental initiative could be more important than food in your pot when the day comes? And that's a question Guyanese are asking. I know MPs, you are in your communities and you're seeing the suffering, you're seeing the people going to the shops and can't afford things that are 50% more than they used to be only a few months ago. So how are Guyanese supposed to take this? You know, what do you say to the woman on the East Coast in Belfield that going to the corner shop and realize that, you know what, her $1,000 can't even give her enough money to cook a pot? MP Philadelphia, how do we speak to those people?
You know, Randy, a few mornings ago, I saw a post on Leroy the Big Smith Facebook page that said, "No one is okay until all of us are okay.
Yep.
None of us are okay until all of us are okay." And I want to say to Minister Parang, the honorable member, you are not okay. Minister Ashley Singh, you are not okay. Minister Vindi Prasad, you are not okay. None of us are okay until all of us are okay. I say this, sugar right here, $180. Then now you pay in excess of $300 per pound. As a matter of fact, we saw recently where persons had to join long line to get 2 kg of sugar. They were limited to only 2 kg of sugar. But then SACE is saying that sugar is not scarce. We have sugar in the bond. Then I am saying tonight to SACE, take the sugar out the bond and let the Guyanese people get the sugar. You're saying it is not scarce. Now I say this to you. I met Candace. Candace said to me, her salary is $78,000.
Minimum wage. Mm-hmm.
That's her salary, $78,000.
Mm-hmm.
And when they subtract NIS, etc., our net is $72,000. Candace is a teacher. Candace has to travel from Anns Grove on a daily basis. Candace has 2 children. They are also attending school. On a daily basis, Candace spends $1,000 on transportation. Not forgetting, Candace has to reach the school in Georgetown for 8 o'clock. Mentally drained, her children has to meet to school in Georgetown for that time. And so if her mind is not right, the basics are not met,
Yep.
how Candace can perform in class? And I say this, Candace pay rent of $35,000. Like I said, her transportation is $1,000 a day to take herself and her 2 children to school in Georgetown. Because COVID would have thrown us into a situation where we had to adapt to its modalities and revert to virtual teaching, Candace has to ensure that she either use data or internet service. And you know, Randy, data in excess is excess of $5,000 for a month plan. And more than often, that does not carry you through the month. Then you have to pay your phone bill. Candace again. Candace again. And I am so proud of Candace. You know what? Candace is teaching during the day and she's doing security guard at nights because you know what? She wants to provide for her children. She
Wow.
wants to provide for her children. I know you asked me about the mother in Belfield when she
Mm-hmm.
goes to the store, but I'm a teacher and I empathize with Candace and all other teachers, as a matter of fact, all other public servants that enjoy, I use that term, enjoy the minimum wage. And that is why I say to Sonia Parang, you are not okay. Sonia, you are not okay. Ashley
Because everybody
Singh,
is not.
you are not okay. And Bindi Prasad, you are not okay until those persons that turn the wheel in the public service are okay. Until our nurses, our doctors, our teachers,
Yep.
our men and women in uniform are okay, then we can say we are okay. And I'm saying I just want to touch on what MP Nima Flu would have said. $44 billion, but we have not seen anything there that speak to a
Relief.
strategy, a mechanism, a plan that this government, albeit installed, is going to do to cushion the rising cost of living. And then I can remember also, if my memory serves me correct, where the Honorable Attorney General boast in the National Assembly, where we spend 18,000 US dollars to clear a container when we have families that don't know where they're going to get a dinner tonight, if they're going to get breakfast in the morning. But we have the Attorney General boasting about his financial capabilities and his assets. He used 18,000 US dollars to clear a container. And so I am saying again, Sonia Parang, it is not okay. You are not okay. You are not okay. Ashley Singh, you are not okay. Vindi Prasad and all the others, you are not okay until you put system in place to cushion the cost of living of public servants in this country.
Yeah. Well said, MP. And as on that note, we want to bring in another MP to our program. We want to welcome MP Ganesh Maipal to our program this evening. Ganesh, good evening to you, sir.
Good night, Randy. Good night to you. Good night, Maureen. Good night, Nima. Good to be with your company.
Right.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much for joining. Let's see if we can change. Right. I think we have to work like this, Ganesh. All right. Ganesh, thank you very much for joining. I know you would have heard the conversation so far. We have MB Philadelphia. Thank you very much to those persons who are joining us online. Share the live stream, folks. You know, I don't have to say it like my colleague Church. Share the damn live stream, but we're going to share it. We're going to share the live stream with your friends and family in your WhatsApp groups on Facebook. Ganesh, your thoughts. I'm going to take your opening thoughts tonight on this supplementary budget issue, right? I want to take your thoughts on this here. Over 44 bill in supplementary funding sought in support of developmental initiatives. And I'm asking, as I asked the MP, what is more important? What developmental initiative is more important than the hungry people out there? Your thoughts, Ganesh?
Well, in a nutshell, this is public thievery. I've always said it, and I'm going to say it again. This is public thievery. The government that is installed as they are continue to rape our treasury, and they continue to take the money out and claim to put it for the people's benefit. And the evidence that we have before us is that people are not benefiting from it. I heard, I think it was Nima or Maureen, one out of the two of them, said that it was the largest budget ever that we had a couple of months back, 500 and something billion dollars. And when you come to the National Assembly for a supplementary budget, it means that you have utilized that budget that was passed already. If we have a country that spent already 500 and something billion dollars, and we cannot feel, we cannot sense, nor can we breathe easier after that budget, and now you're coming to tell me you want an additional amount to cater for initiative or developmental projects. Where were the developmental projects with that 500 and something billion dollars? And then before that 500 and something billion dollars, we had two other budgets. the 2020 budget belongs to the PPP. The 2021 budget belongs to the PPP. Now we have 2022 budget, and still we can't feel anything from them. So it scares me to know that our resources are being mismanaged. As far as I'm concerned, it is being pilfered, and it is public thievery at its best. And you look at who really is enjoying the good life under the PPP. It's a few friends, families, and favorites. And they are the persons that continue to do what is best in their interests at the expense of the people of this country. It's a shame, it's a disgrace, and to know that they're utilizing the parliament in such a way where we are not even able to cross-examine amongst that were already budgeted for, and now they're coming for supplementary spending. If you look at Office of the Prime Minister, for example, Office of the Prime Minister had in the budget of 2022 a sum of 5 billion. They had a sum of 5,2,061,000, and that was under line item 6294, where they catered for support of developmental and humanitarian initiatives. That's the amount that we voted in the National Assembly a couple of months ago and gave the Honorable Prime Minister the authority to spend. 5,2,061,000.
Wow, wow.
Now they're coming back to the National Assembly and they're asking for $50 million. What that means is that the Office of the Prime Minister already spent out 5 billion, 2 million, and 61,000. They spent that out already. And now they're coming for 50 million. The question we need to ask ourselves as citizens of this country, from that 5 billion, 2,061,000, did we benefit in any way with reference to supporting new developmental and humanitarian initiatives? Did we benefit from it? And we must answer this question honestly. And if you believe you have benefited in some way from that 5 billion, 2,061,000, then I will agree that the Prime Minister office should get an additional 50 million. But show me where you have benefited from. You can go further down, Randy.
Go ahead.
And you can look at the Ministry of Finance. They are coming for an additional $4 billion. They want $4 billion tomorrow. And they want it for the provision of additional resources for the payment of electricity arrears to Guyana Power and Light Incorporated. We voted in the last budget in 2022 a sum of $6 billion. 6 billion, in fact, the exact figure is $6,062,664,000. That is the amount of money we gave the Ministry of Finance a couple of months ago, you know. 6,062,664,000. We give them that to give to the Guyana Power and Light as arrears. They're coming now for $4 billion.
Wow.
The question is, what really is happening at GPL then? What really is happening at GPL? Maureen, your light bill, did it go down? Nima, did your light bill go down? Ask the ordinary man and woman in the street. Do they pay a cheaper electricity bill now, given the fact that the $6 billion plus went to GPL a couple of months ago, and now you're coming for $4 billion. And no part of this supplementary budget, no part of it are they asking for a sum that can assist the people, the ordinary citizens of this country that are suffering with high cost of living. I have said time and time again, if that $4 billion that they're asking for GPL was to cater for rebates to our citizenry, then I would have supported it. Because in this current situation where cost of living is extremely high, we have to find a way of letting the ordinary citizens benefit.
Yeah.
And I am proposing that you give a $15,000 rebate to every person or every home that has electricity. I am proposing a $10,000 rebate to every home with the 𝐬𝐿 Incorporated service. What that does is that it eases the burden on the citizenry, and they have more disposable income in their pockets, and they can go and shop for the basic food items. But when you have a family that is working for $100,000 a month, the breadwinner, $100,000 a month. I'm not going to go to minimum wage. Minimum wage is $74,000. I'm going to be rational and reasonable. $100,000 a month. That person has to pay for groceries. That's essential. I am going to say approximately $30,000 will go towards grocery, because this family is a husband and wife and 2 children. $30,000 in grocery for the month. I am going to say that that family will have an electricity bill of $10,000 a month. That's $40,000. That person is going to have a water bill of, let's say, $10,000 a month or less. Let's say $5,000 a month. That's $45,000 a month. That leaves this family with $55,000. From that $55,000, remember, they have 2 children. Their children have to go to school. They have to pay transportation cost. Their children will have to get a little pocket piece. The children will have to get internet access so that they can be exposed to good information. And when you look at that expense, you are basically leaving that family, I would say, with approximately $20,000 as their disposable income. That will be for recreational purpose, if I may put it that way. You did not cater in that, we did not cater in that, Randy, for medical emergency. If that family drives, if that breadwinner drives, we did not cater for gas expense. We did not cater for wear and tear of the vehicle. So the question is, can a person who is earning $100,000 a month for his family, his wife and 2 children, survive in Guyana?
No way.
The answer is no.
No.
People will want to tell me that this high cost of living is not just in Guyana, but it's happening worldwide. The Ukraine war, we have tension with China and Taiwan and the US. We have the COVID pandemic that we're recovering from. All of those are legitimate reasons. My question is, what is the government doing to assist the situation?
This is what
the government doing to bring some degree of relief? They are coming to the National Assembly for large sums of money, but no part of it seeks to address the high cost of living. And if they consider what I'm proposing, a rebate in electricity cost, a rebate in water costs, you can guarantee 80% of Guyanese benefiting from that. But you see this trickle-down economics that the PPP play with, where they give a few at the top with the hope that it reaches to the bottom. It's wrong. Look at they have removed VAT from a number of commodities, and I know I'm taking a lot of time, but forgive me.
No, go ahead, man.
They have removed the VAT from a number of commodities, but are those prices for those items, have they been reduced? The answer is no, because what has happened? The people who are supplying the commodities to the consumers, they did not drop the price. They kept the price there and they even increased some. So the larger percentage of profit goes into their pockets and not to the consumer's pocket. The consumers are not benefiting from these actions because the People's Progressive Party believe in a trickle-down economic approach where you give at the top with the expectation of it reaching the bottom. We have seen time and time again that when they do that, it is the rich community that continues to get rich and the poor communities continue to get poor. Irfan Ali made an announcement that people who are constructing homes, they will now be given a sling of cement and steel rods. In some cases, two slings of cement and steel rod. Who are they buying the cement from and who are they buying the steel rod from? Now their friend and family and favorites? Is the friend, family, and favorites they're going to buy it from? Now listen to me. Every steel rod carries a profit for those people who are selling it. Every sack of cement carries a profit for those people who are selling it. So the people who Irfan Ali and his cabal will engage to buy thousands of sacks of cement and thousands of steel rod will end up getting a large percent of profit for themselves. And the drawback and kickback will happen there.
From our money. From our money.
Our money. The drawback and kickback will happen there. Why, if you want to do that, if you want to give a family a sack of cement or you want to give them a couple of steel rod, why not give them the money? Let them go and buy it.
Yep.
They have their local hardware store where they can get the supply from. But
Yep.
you, the PPP, you think you're smart. You got your own people who you want to buy it from. Because your own people who are buying it from, when they get the drawback, you got to get a pocket piece too. We know how it happens because that is what people have been telling us. People have been telling us how the PPP operates. And that doesn't scare us from saying it here. Why is it that they could not have come up with some better arrangement
Give
to
the people
benefit
a
the
voucher.
people? It's all about putting money into their friends, families, and favorites' pockets. That is their intention. Randy, I think I've taken a lot of time there. So let me bring my other two colleagues back in.
Thank you, Ganesh, for that. And you know, important information for the public to know. Important information about these wicked set of people that we have in government. I want to bring in MP Flubes here because we have seen the billions of dollars spent. And I'll come back to Ganesh in just a moment and the other MPs about if these people are asking for supplementary budgets, how is it that we are keeping them accountable and saying, look, show us that you would have spent the money that we gave you early in the year already, right? MP Flubes, there's a video that was circulating with the condition of a road in your area. And these are the sort of things that people are asking. You're coming to ask for the 4 billion when there's situations like this happening around the country, right? When there are people walking through ankle-high mud around the country. So I'm going to bring in MP Flubes. This video is from your community. So how do you justify coming and ask people for more money when you can't show us that you're spending on the things that matter like these? MP?
Yes, I must concur with what my colleague said before me, Ganesh. He hit the hammer on the nail head. You know, it's amazing when Ganesh read out the total sum that the Prime Minister office would have received and now is asking for. I am here asking myself, how much help was given to the people on the East Bank? and the Linden-Suzaik Highway, when it comes for disaster preparedness, I know that a number of areas were flooded. Barnwell North Road is a good example because we remember the tragedy where I lost my 3 relatives to the fire there, and it took the people to get the bodies out 12 hours, 12 hours to get the bodies removed. And that is a result of the poor infrastructural work. The people at Barwell North still continue to live in this same condition, although recently the minister came to the village and announced to the people that the road will be done. It was up for tendering, and I'm still looking with a peeping glass for the tender document for that particular road that the people of Barnwell North so desperately need, especially for the children coming out back to school. When school reopens in September, there are over 300 children that have to traverse that particular road to come out to go to their school. Yet still, we see a supplemental budget coming before us, and the place where we ought to be asking these questions, which is the parliament, the speaker will not allow us to go and find out what happened to the set of money that was given before. You will tell you have to deal with the paper that is currently in front of you. I'm quite sure my comrades can concur to that. He will tell us we have to look at what is currently in front of us. And when you look at what is before us, there are several questions that we need to ask when it comes to the approval of them asking for this part, the $4 billion additional budgeting sum. For what exactly? Where is the urgency in fuel and lubricants that I see, again, recurring here under the regional section? I also highlighted, I see training, including scholarship on the public ministry, the Gold Scholarship. How does this benefit the high cost of living for the people in Guyana who will willingly want to register for the Gold Scholarship, but they can't even provide basic food items? When I listen to my colleague, Philadelphia, talk about Candace, the teacher, I also think about the people who live up the Demois River to come out of their area. It takes $5,830 to put fuel in their boat to drive and come out to the Demois River up to the docks. And then they will still have to pay transportation to go wherever they have to go to do their shopping and then return home. And for that family that lives in that area, that will be their daily cost of traveling to and fro. And yet still, we have these ministers that running around the place with the handouts as Ganeshaks. What have they been doing? Yes, we see this handout system where they bring some bags and then they walk past you and said, oh, it's not you. You're not to get because you're not a supporter. It's our support. It's for our people. It's for we people. That's the thing they would say to people. And then they will take their handouts and give to the persons that they feel have been supporting them. There's no help. There's no hope for people in Guyana with this supplemental budget that is being presented here. And yes, it's only the rich getting richer. When we talk about the VAT that is on item, I know for sure Gafour's, what are the hardware store, the window was selling for one price with the VAT price on it. And when the VAT was removed, the window remained the same as though the VAT is there. And you're telling people the VAT was removed. Are we that dumb? I don't think the people of Guyana are that dumb. And this is something that people keep raising and people keep highlighting. How the high cost of living is affecting people, and there's no system or mechanism in place to help the ordinary Guyanese. And we have to hold these people accountable for what they're doing.
You know, MP, you ask what they're doing, and I say this not out of jest, but very seriously, that all of this is happening in Guyana. All of this is happening. You have people fighting to figure out how to get into work, public servants. You have people can't find food. You have 𝐤𝐤𝐿 in ruins. You have all these things happening. But the PPP is bent on playing this propaganda game, right? So we see the president playing cricket. You got time for play cricket, right? And put up propaganda posts so the president make 104 not out, right? And so that is your focus. You got time to dance like your head and go like you're on like you sugar down. According to Sherrod, you sugar down. You got time, right? You got time for do all of these PR gimmicks instead of dealing with the issue. But when you come to Parliament, You shut down a motion that's supposed to deal with the core issue of cost of living. The people in Guyana are suffering. And so it's amazing. It's almost a slap in your face. Like, you know what? Don't worry the fact that you can't eat. Come look at me bat this ball. You know? You got time to do that instead of sitting down with your Minister of Finance and say, you know what? How are we going to raise the salary of our public servants? Let's figure out that. You know? That is the sort of disconnect that I'm seeing when I look at social media. All I see is the president doing all kind of fancy things. The first lady traveling here and there. The president playing cricket and dancing. It's all manner of things. Except what is important to the people of Guyana, their pockets. MP Philadelphia, let me bring you in here. I want to shift focus. I know you brought up 𝐤𝐤𝐭𝐡. I often say that the 𝐤𝐤𝐭𝐡 and the sugar industry is going to be the demise of the PPP. I think that they have created they stoke this Baku, they feed this Baku up long enough, and it's going to be the demise of them. We've pumped billions of dollars over the last 2 years into this black hole of 𝐤𝐤𝐭𝐡. Let's just say I'm an average Guyanese and I come up to you on the road, MP Philadelphia, and I say, what are we supposed to do with 𝐤𝐤𝐭𝐡? I want you to tell the Guyanese people, what is the next step in terms of 𝐤𝐤𝐭𝐡? How are we supposed to deal with this? And do you think that this is we're going down the correct road in terms of pumping billions of dollars into it? Yeah, Mike.
I am thinking, Randy, how to respond specifically to that question. I hear time and time again members on the opposite side of the house would lash Honorable Ramjatan for right sizing 𝐤𝐤𝐭𝐡. You hear the word we're using? Right size 𝐤𝐤𝐭𝐡. And I do understand why that was done, because the evidence is here. 2 years, SACE is the best thing for 𝐤𝐤𝐭𝐡. 2 years, SACE has been receiving super salaries, and we have not seen a turnaround for 𝐤𝐤𝐭𝐡. But what we've been seeing time and time again, the staff of various estates are protesting, or were protesting, for increase payment here, increase payment there. And we understand that 𝐤𝐤𝐭𝐡 has failed and continue to fail. And so what APNU AFC would have done then to right size the company and to add other supplementals so as to ensure that those persons, while they are off cane planting and production, they have other means of earning. But of course, the PPP, as usual, the propaganda machinery, they put it out there that APNU closed 𝐤𝐤𝐭𝐡. But I want to make it lucidly clear, it was the PPP that closed 𝐿BI Estate. It was the PPP that closed Diamond Estate. But you know what? We are a people that always forget. We tend to forget. And I want to remind all of us, it was the PPP because they recognize that sugar has failed in every part of the world. But for whatever political reason, the PPP want to keep sugar. Even though it is failing, it has failed, they want to keep sugar because they want to say to those persons, we are using you as a voting tool to keep us in office. And so that is what they're doing. They've been playing into the psyche of those persons that work on the estate because they want to keep them there so that they can use them for their own political purpose.
Yeah. But I have a simple answer whenever people ask me the question. I said, move away from cane completely. And I'm going to bring in Ganesh here before we take some calls quickly. I know, Ganesh, you have to, and we're thankful that you're joining us. I know you're dealing with your family emergency, so I'm very grateful that you're able to join us tonight. But I say I make no bones about it. In 2007, when Jagdeo was supposed to divest and move away from sugar, he didn't. He persisted with it. After we were told by European Union that they're not going to get preferential treatment anymore. So I have a very simple solution, right? Plant something else. Something else that will be profitable. Stop wasting your time with sugar. I don't know. It is not a rocket science. What is going to be profitable? Let's figure out how to convert the lands to plant that. Ganesh, I want your thoughts on sugar before we invite our viewers to just share their views quickly.
Well, I want to share two things, and I'm going to deal with the one that you're asking for first. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to deal with three things. Two I have in my mind based on what Nima Flubes said, mm-hmm. and I also want to talk about something else, and the one with sugar. First of all, divestment is the best way to go. And we need to recognize that sugar played its significant role in our country, in our history. It is recorded as one of the best industry we had. Mm-hmm. But currently, sugar has basically been failing because of the scale at which it is. Mm-hmm. And we have to recognize that, yes, the sugar industry is still vital and important to our country, but we have to right size it. And that is what the coalition has always been saying. We need to keep it at a level where we can supply our local market. And if profitable, we can move down the road of international and regional markets. But we got to satisfy our people first. Right now, you can't get sugar to buy. The other day in Mocha, Arcadia, there was GMC, Guyana Manufacturing Corporation. They're selling sugar. When I went to purchase sugar, I was only entitled to purchase one pack of the sugar. And the quality of it is not, it ain't ready. It's only because I had to get sugar. I end up buying it. But the quality of it is no good. So it seems as though they are not providing the best to their own people, and God knows what they're doing with the best. Or if there is a best, I don't know. But we need to scale down, we need to right size, and we need to ensure that it becomes profitable in the sense that we supply our local market and we can see to supply international and regional markets once available. But I think the argument over sugar has been well documented. The coalition has a white paper that was produced on sugar, and you hear the arguments day in, day out as to what we should do with the sugar industry. And then you hear the PPP side with their politics in the sugar industry. I always say Guyanese are educated people, and Guyanese can judge for themselves as to what needs to be done with the sugar industry. The second point I want to speak to is with reference to those roads that you showed, Randy, and the quality of the road. I want to tell this nation through your program that on the Ministry of Public Works, a sum of $14.049 billion was budgeted, approved, and spent by the Ministry of Public Works for miscellaneous roads and drainage. That's from the last budget, you know. From the last budget, a sum of $14.049 billion was spent on roads. Now they're coming to us and they're asking for an additional $3 billion. $3 billion for the provision of additional resources to facilitate the upgrading of roads and drains in various communities. Let's travel through Farm on the East Bank. Let's travel through Horstellin on the East Bank. Let's travel through Tushin in Region 3. Parfait Harmony, Region 3. Zillot, Region 3. Name the communities and let's travel through them. What this administration does is that they put a sum of money towards road. They put $1 billion towards road development. And when they build that road, take for example the road that the Jumbie board there at. That new piece of road that they built at the back of Mandela there, from Mandela to Eccles. The famous Jumbie board road. Let's assume, I can't remember the figure, but Randy, if these people spent $1 billion to make that road, they destroyed over $2 billion in roads to make that $1 billion road. They destroyed over $2 billion of road to make a $1 billion road. That makes sense? Right now, they're continuing with that project. The project from Eccles, the highway, four-lane highway going down. And you travel through these communities and you will see how they're destroying existing roads. Why could they not have had an alternative route where these large trucks with over 18 wheels could have traveled? But no, they find pleasure in damaging what exists that was in tip-top shape. They find pleasure in damaging what exists in tip-top shape to build something else, because that means their friends, families, and favorites will get back contracts to fix what they have damaged in the millions and billions. Now, I don't know if your viewership understand what is $3 billion. So I want to take the liberty, Randy, of explaining to them what is $3 billion. $1 million is a lot of money for an ordinary citizen. And then you're going to get, let's say, $3 million. $3 million has 6 zeros at the back of it. So if we say $30 million, you know, you'll see enough houses in these upper class neighborhood, Windsor Estate, and all of these nice fancy neighborhood. You might get a house to buy there for $30 million.
Yeah, at the low end, that's a low end house.
Yeah, and you and I can't afford that. Maureen and Nima can't afford that. $30 million. That's a lot of money. And if we talk 300 million, if we get 300 million, we super rich. Randy, you, Nima, Maureen, myself, 300 million, we rich. So imagine what is 3 billion. $3 billion is really 3,000 million. $3 billion is 3,000 millions. You hear how much money you're talking about? And we still got roads in deplorable state. This government cannot show us. They cannot show us roads to the tune of $14 billion and $49 million that they built already. And they're coming to us now for $3 billion more.
That is the
Where
question.
the money going? Where is the money going?
That is the question that I want to put to...
One other point, Randy.
Go ahead.
One other point on the same supplementary budget. In this supplementary budget, this administration is coming for $100 million. $100 million of provision caters for additional legal fees. Legal fees. Anil Nandalal is spending his time fighting at the Court of Appeal and the CCJ to stop the hearing of the elections petitions. The elections petitions that were filed, election petition 88 and election petition 99, they were filed to bring a sense of knowledge and to give authenticity to the fact that we already know, and that is elections 2020 was rigged. There were high-level fraud. There was skullduggery in the highest of esteem there. We had unsigned oaths of identity, dead people voting, migrants voting, 49 ballot boxes with no statutory documentation, to find what was in it. It was basically anomalies, abnormalities, irregularity. It was fraud. And Anil Nandalal is asking the government of Guyana, the people of Guyana, Anil Nandalal is asking you and I, taxpayers, the people who struggle every single day to make ends meet, who pay taxes, the public servants who contribute to the treasury significantly. Anil Nandalal is coming to Parliament for $100 million to stymie the hearing of these petitions. Is that something they got to hide? It's something they got to hide. And here, they're using we money to stifle us from knowing what happened in election 2020. They're using we money to fight, to hold on something that we want. We want the petitions to be heard. We want the court to hear what happened in election 2020. We want the court to know that when 𝐤𝐫𝐢𝐭𝐡 was written to and told that there are people who are dead, but their names are ticked off on the list of electors. She sent it to GRO, and GRO responded and said, yes, there are people who are dead, and their names are ticked off as voted.
Yep.
We want the court to hear that case and pronounce on it. We wrote 𝐤𝐫𝐢𝐭𝐡 and told her that a person who migrated from this country did not return on or before the 2nd of March 2020. She sent it to the chief immigration officer. The chief immigration officer responded and said, yes, you are correct. These names that are sent to me that were ticked off on the list of electors as voted, they are not in this country. So this is not hearsay. This is not somebody come and tell me this. I sat in the recount center for 33 days, from 6 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the evening. 33 consecutive days. And we found fraud, we found anomalies, we found abnormalities, we found fraud. And Anil Nandalal is now coming to the parliament and asking us for $100 million for additional legal fees after we had already given him, in the last budget, we had already given him $122 million. So he done spent out $122 million on legal fees. $122 million done spent out on legal fees. And now we come in for an additional $100 million. These people could be anything. These people could care anything about us. These people could care anything about the ordinary Guyanese and lifting our lives out of the misery we currently find ourselves in. They could care for us. And then you got people sitting down telling me about SOPs. I don't care about that because the election was pronouncing on an SOR, statement of recount. I'm too intelligent to entertain discussions from intellectually circumcised people fighting battles to defend a cabal that has nothing to offer us, save and except embarrassment at the highest level, save and except embarrassment at the international stage, and save and accept friends, families, and favorites who benefit from them. And anybody who stand up and fight for the PPP are people who are benefiting from the regime and their illegal practices, are people who are benefiting from them. Friends, families, and favorites.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And as you so rightly recounted all of these things, all the monies, all the billions going to these various agencies and ministries, what are they spending it on? Because the people of Guyana obviously don't feel the benefits of it. And I am not seeing it. Where is this development that they're talking about? As you said, when you walk through some communities, you want to know if the government, what country are you living in? Billions and billions and billions, but where is it being spent? And that is a question that we need to ask. And we want to ask those persons who are looking. I know we're going a bit over time, and I crave your indulgence, MPs, to give me a few more minutes and allow our viewers to ask you a few questions, because we have to give them an opportunity. We want to engage with them. We just don't want to talk at them, but we want to talk with them. So 617-0244, give us a call. We'll try and keep the MPs for a few minutes more. Give us a call, 617-0244, and let's have a discussion, a quick discussion. Keep your comments brief, keep your questions brief, and let's talk about where this money is going. Maybe there are some people out there, the money is going into their communities and we don't know. So this developmental work that's supposed to be on, we are not seeing it. We are not seeing it. 617-0244. Give us a call for those persons out there who are listening to us and looking at us right now on YouTube, on Facebook. Let us hear your views quickly. We'll stay on for a few minutes more. We hope that the MPs are going to stick with us and try to interact with you as you share your views. 617-0244. Give us a call and we will entertain your comments and questions right now. Those persons who are joining, thank you very much for being a part. Share the live stream, of course, in your Facebook groups, in your WhatsApp chats. Let others know that the program is on. If you're looking at us on YouTube, ensure that you subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, hit the little notification bell so you are aware when we have live programs. If you are on Facebook, ensure that you follow the page that you're looking at us on right now. We are live on 3 pages on Facebook, so ensure that you follow the page. We have a caller on. Caller, you on to the Weekend Rush. Have your say.
Yes, good night, Randy.
Good night.
Now with the thing, I feel that this install regime, by the time they finish, all the money from the oil fund will be over. But what I want to know, see, it challenged in the court. The night when they tried to push through that bill, it was passed with a mace.
Yeah.
And they use mace, a legal bill. And even if it is not a legal bill, I think after a time that bill and
the call is breaking up. You're breaking up there, caller. Sorry about that. The internet is not that strong. You're breaking up, but of course he's talking about what is happening. Let's take the other caller here quickly, and we'll keep the comments and the MPs to respond in a bit. Caller, you're on the evening. Weekend Rush, have your say.
Hello, a pleasant good night.
Yes, you have to speak up.
A pleasant good night.
Yes.
Everybody on there is MPs, right?
Yes.
Right. I just want to tell you one that I'm a Guyanese. I'm born Guyanese. Watching TV every night and watching different things going on in this country, I'm a Guyanese that's fed up. I'm so fed up that I don't know what more to do. And after living, I'm fed up.
Yeah. The caller, you know what to say, MP flew best. The caller just said he fed up. That's the reality. That's the reality.
Definitely a reality.
Yeah, that's the reality. The man said he doesn't know what to say. He's just fed up. And we hear this from people. And the problem that I have, MP Philadelphia, is that it seems as though the government is not hearing. They're not hearing the people. I don't understand what else do you need to see or hear to understand that the people of Guyana are crying out for some help. At the minimum, some help. Public servants are barely making it back to work. People are borrowing money to go to work. So I really don't know. I don't know what they're listening to or But we encourage you to continue calling. We'll stay on a few more minutes. If you have any questions to the MPs, if you have any comments, you can share with us. 617-0244. Let's go back to that night, MPs. As the caller before, the first caller brought up, I think everybody here, I don't know if Nima is suspended. If everybody here is suspended, Nima is not suspended. The Nima, Ganesh, you're suspended. But that night, and MP Philadelphia said she wears her badge of suspension as a badge of honor. Is it the same for you, Ganesh? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I want to say, first of all, that in a National Assembly where it is expected that democracy will reign, and where it is expected that law and natural justice will be respected, I was suspended without due process. I agree that the National Assembly has the right, they have the prerogative to follow their procedure, to do whatever they want. And if they had suspended me with due process, I, like Maureen, would have wore my suspension as a badge of honor. But my right as a Guyanese, my constitutional right as a Guyanese to be heard, as enshrined in the Constitution under Article 144(8), that speaks to the law of natural justice, that speaks to the accused being given a fair hearing from a competent court or a tribunal so designed to do it, then I would have respected that suspension.
Yeah.
But the suspension was done willy-nilly. You had Ghale Teixeira. Ghale Teixeira brought a motion to the House, and she claimed in her motion that these 8 MPs operated disorderly.
Yeah.
And she said that in her motion. So she is the person who went and complained about our behavior. So she's the complainant.
Yeah.
It's like when you have a normal court story. You and your neighbor got story. Maureen and I got story. Maureen gonna go to the police station and make a complaint that Ganesh Mahipal did her something wrong. Ganesh push her. Let's use that for example. The police will document the report. So in this case, Ghale Teixeira gone to the House and said that these 8 MPs do something bad. She reported it. When the matter was pronounced on to go to the Committee of Privileges, it was the Speaker that established that there was a prima facie case. So that's like the police. The police say, here, let me send this matter to court.
Yep.
We're going to send it to court and a judge or a magistrate can deal with it. So that's what the Speaker did, send it to the Committee of Privileges. That was the court. In the court is Ghale Teixeira again. She's a member to decide. Ghale done say, we do bad thing. Ghale sit down on the committee and Ghale said, yes, we find you guilty. And then Ghale come back to the House and read out that we must be suspended. So Ghale, they ain't everything. Ghale like the real patsal in this whole matter, you know.
Ganesh, hold up on that. Let's take the comment from this caller quickly. Caller, good evening. Have you see?
Hi, Randy. Good evening. Nice to watch you show. I'm watching it from Toronto.
Okay.
And I noticed that when you're doing a road, you're supposed to dealing with the road because I'm in construction. You're doing a road. When a road finish, you're supposed to get a pressure test that stamp the road and tell you how much pounds a square inch pressure could take. When you see a finish board, you see it's just inch and a half capping over it. Inch and a half capping cannot take a 20,000 ton or so much weight per day on it. Inch and a half cannot do it. So Ministry of Public Works, they need to get the act together and get machine to measure pounds a square inch for road that the pressure it could take. Right? When you just forcing a road, 2 sides have to get shoulder. If you ain't get shoulder, the road will come break because a vehicle travel at the side, a thing on the mud, that part get a sink, and from that they thing in, and it's all going to come through, and you got to do back a new road.
Yeah.
They do road work. They need shoulder on both sides of the road for all the road, and they mean concrete the 2 sides, right? Come up, say about 4 inches. And that's going to hold the road. And you're going to get less repair a road. Because if a road do not have shoulder, it will always break away from the twins, then go into the middle.
All right. Thank you for that. And we've been seeing all of the shabby work, even up recently, the Thomas Lands Road. So thank you very much for highlighting that.
All right, thanks.
Right. Caller, quickly, you're on the air. Go ahead. You're on to the program.
Hello, good night, Randy. Good night, Ganesh. Good night, Maureen. Good night, Mo. Okay. My opinion tonight is the PPP cabal don't care about the poor people in this country, and they're not going to help anybody. So we have to stop thinking about that. Now, Mr. Granger, from the time Mr. Granger was there, when he was in power, cost of living was much, much, much more affordable. We could have afford to buy our groceries comfortable. And the VAT and tax that they are saying is off, they still have the VAT and tax on the bill. You go to the supermarket, you still have to pay VAT and tax. I think that is ridiculous also. Now, the money in the resources fund, Mr. Granger had put that here for emergency. Now, these people are taking the money out and they're claiming that they have projects or they need it for certain things. Where is it going? We are not seeing anything about where the money is being spent. Now, the suspension of the 8 MP. Sorry about that, Ganesh. I know you're one of them. The suspension is based on they are trying to cripple the stronghold of the APNU. They're taking down the strong ones, and because they know if they weaken the APNU, they could get away with murder. They could do as they like. So there wouldn't be anybody to fight them on doing anything with the resources funds, and they won't have nobody to say, well, stop them from doing that. Then they changed all the rules to suit these people then. Yeah. And Granger know what he's doing. I know he know what he's doing. He's dealing with them according to the military defense in his belief. I know what he's doing too, and he knows exactly what he's doing. He's coming up with a strong point that they are going to fall on their own faces, and they're going to fall in the hole that's so deep that they won't be able to come out, because their mistakes and their blunder that they're committing is going to take them a far, far away. Yeah. And as I always used to say, your mouth will put you in places that your feet cannot take you out, and that's where the PPP is going to be. Right. Okay? Right.
Thank you. Thank you for your contribution this evening, because we're running out of time. Thank you very much, caller. I want to say this very quickly, and I'll give our MPs an opportunity to end the program as we are running out of time. I want to just remind our viewers as to the reason for this suspension. I want people to understand the basic thing here. The Natural Resources Fund, what the APNU AFC put in place was a 21-member board committee, 22 members, sorry, thank you, that would have overseen any monies coming out of this fund.
And in that 22, we had representatives from all 10 regions.
All the regions, all the groupings, all civil society, government, audit agency, University of Guyana, everybody that had an interest, everybody that had a stake in this country's development, they were represented on that committee. The PPP decided that was too much transparency and oversight and accountability. And they said, let this thing be run by 5 members that the president will select. That is the heart of this issue. At the heart of this, the uproar in Parliament, and what essentially got these MPs unjustly suspended was the fact that the PPP wanted to do what their own thing with the people money. And so I will put that to the MPs as we talk about the way forward, and give you an opportunity to wrap up our program. I'll start with MP Flubes. How do we move forward as a country? Given all this money they're spending and the lack of anything really happening for the people, what do you see us doing in the coming months?
Well, I would like to say to the people of Guyana that we have to work together on our farms. We have to do our little kitchen garden. You may very well have to do like the housewives have been doing, pooling their resources together and shopping groceries in a wholesale quantity to help to cushion the high cost of living. Because as you see, budget 2022 was $552.9 billion. We still ain't got nothing that we could celebrate. And now they're asking for a supplemental budget of $44 plus billion to do whatever they want to do. And when you look at it, still there's no hope for the Guyanese people. So I would like to encourage our people to get to your farming, your kitchen garden. If you don't have land space, get your little containers cut, put your 2 seed, put your little shallot, put a little pepper and all these things to help you. Use your fruits that you have and make a juice and all of that. These are the methods we will have to come up with in the meantime to cushion. And I would encourage you to call on the government of Guyana to increase the wages and salaries of our people so that we and give us a livable wage and wages and salaries so that we can enjoy a good life, just like the 1% of people that are enjoying a good life. With that being said, I want to thank you so much for having me on your program. It was nice being with my comrades Ganesh and Maureen here. And for those who don't know, I have my own program on Saturday morning at 11, The People's Representative. And I will continue to represent and we will continue to represent all of you. God bless you.
We're not hearing you, Randy. You're muted.
Thank you very much, MP 𝐸𝐿, and I'll give the floor to MP Philadelphia to wrap up. I know you spoke about the teachers, and one teacher in particular and the public servants. What do you want to see moving forward?
Randy, because of me being in the education sector for a number of years, I empathize with our teachers, and I want to say here that the teaching profession has more female than female. 90% of the employed there are female. And if we to be true to ourselves, we are the ones that has to cut the coins, cut the corners, and to ensure that their meager wages and salary take care of the family. And so I join with 𝐸𝐿 in saying, I remember those days when LFS Burnham, we celebrated his 100th birthday, 99th birth celebration yesterday of the first executive president of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. As a girl growing up in the community of Victoria, I remember FCH, feed, clothes, and house yourself. I know we had the food security then, and I heard persons are touting food security now as if it is something new on the agenda. But what I want to say, they're a bunch of copycats. But as I deal with that, I want to support what 𝐸𝐿 would have said to our mothers, to our housewives, to the persons that fetch the finance in the home. Let's go back to the soil, because you recognize that the oil is not for all Guyana and all Guyanese. Only 1% is getting from the oil. Like my colleague Marvin Williams would have said, he gave the PPP 3 Fs, and my MP Ganesh reminded us that it's a friends, family, and favorite. And so while we were touting oil, let's not forget the importance of the soil and agriculture. Because of agriculture, we can put food on our table. We can ensure that our pots are filled. And so I want to call on those persons, our household, our family members, those persons who keep the family together, to ensure that we go back to those days where we understood the importance of planting a seed here, planting a seed there, and reaping, so that we can ensure that our families are fed. Our families are fed. We cannot depend on what is happening. And in the meantime, I join with MP 𝐸𝐿 again to say all of us collectively should call on the government, to put system in place to ensure that we give person finances that they can adequately take care of their family, increase wages and salaries. This will only help to cushion the rise in cost of living. And once again, Randy, I say thank you very much for having me, and thank you to your viewership. And I look forward for you having me here again. And I say good night all. God bless you.
Thank you very much, MP Philadelphia. MP Mike Paul, you have the final say.
Thank you very much, Randy. You know, the People's Progressive Party is using the National Assembly as a scapegoat to steal money from the people of this country. And we have seen it in the 3 budgets that they brought before us and the many supplemental papers too, asking for additional resources. The amount of monies that the People's Progressive Party has spent thus far in this country has not assisted us as Guyanese in bettering our lives. And we have to recognize that we have the power in our hands to make it right. 2 years ago, we had a police force that was on the path of becoming a real professional police force. 2 years ago, we could have gone in comfortably into a police station and make a report and get professional guidance and professional service. Today, we have a police force that is facing heavy political instructions, and they're not doing their service to us in a manner where we can consider it as service and protection. 2 years ago, our education sector was booming. We were dealing with new schools, conducive learning environments, and our children, they were succeeding at all heights. They made us reach to the top in the Caribbean secondary school examination and even the common entrance examination. 2 years ago, we had a health facility or a health program where persons could have gone to a hospital and they could have guaranteed themselves proper service. Not the best, because we inherited a failed system after 23 years of the PPP. And in 5 years' time, we managed to turn around the health sector and put it on a path of delivering good service to our people. And if we were still there today, it would have been far way better. No doubt about it. When you look at agriculture 2 years ago, we started the regional agricultural and commercial exhibition, where we were empowering our people in the respective regions. We were bringing out farmers from riverine communities and publicizing them to the wider world. We were making it easier and more accessible for our farmers to sell their produce, building stronger farm-to-market roads. Infrastructure was a thing that we were boasting about. Sea defense infrastructure protecting our people. A lot of money was spent there from the coalition. Roads, we did it properly. Drainage, we did it properly. And you have to compare now what the People's Progressive Party is doing and what we did. And you will see that all that the PPP talks about the coalition, it is hogwash. The amount of time they spend fabricating stories about the coalition, trying to indoctrinate our people to believe that the coalition is bad. Well, the people have 5 years of the coalition. And they know that cost of living was not killing them like what it is doing now. They know that when we spoke about going into communities, fixing people's problems and meeting the grassroots, they know that was the coalition. Taking government to the people is a coalition thing. You see Jagdeo gallivanting all over the place. It's the coalition idea. They don't have ideas of their own. I say to the people of Guyana here and now, we have the power in our hands. We want a clean voters list. We cannot afford to go back to an election in this country with that list. That list is heavily padded with dead people and migrants. And if we want to see the will of the people, and if we want the will of the people to be represented in our government, then you have to join with me. You, the people of Guyana, you have to join with me. You have to join with the leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton. You have to join with the leader of the AFC, Kemraj Ramjatan. You have to join with Roycedale Ford. You have to join with Sherwin Holder. You have to join with Vince Roy Jordan. You have to join with Ronald Cox from Region 1. You have to join with Dinesh Jaiprashad from Region 6. You have to join with Don Hastings Williams from Region 7. You have to join with Richard Sinclair from Region 8. you have to join with Jermaine Figueira from Region 10 and Devin Sears. You have to join with Vincent Henry from Region 9. And you have to join with me to call for a clean voters list. There is where it starts. So I have an assignment for the viewership of this program. It's good that you're listening to us. It's good that you find favor in listening to us. It's good that you have confidence in us. And we have confidence in you too. But this fight is not a fight for just 31 members of parliament from the coalition. It is a fight for you and me. It is a fight that you have to also play a part. So help us. Write letters in the newspaper. Put up on your social media platform. Air your mouth out. Speak to your neighbors. Let the message that must transcend and let the message that must meet every Guyanese and in the international community, let that message be Guyana needs a clean voters list. Simple. Guyana needs a clean voters list. And I guarantee you, with a clean voters list, the PPP is no more. With a clean voters list, you will get back the coalition. With a clean voters list, decency will return, democracy will return, good governance will return, the people's representatives will return, and the true will of the Guyanese people will be reflected in your vote. A clean voters list is what we need to have. Thank you, Randy.
Well said, Ganesh. Well said, and I co-sign and I, subscribe to all of what you've said, all of what the other two MPs sort of posited this evening. We want to thank all of you again. Maureen Philadelphia MP, Nima Flu Best MP, and of course Ganesh Maipaw, who just wrapped up there. Thank you very much for your contributions this evening, and I know your words are not falling on deaf ears because our supporters are very in tune and they're very aware of the issues, and I'm happy that you're able to give them some more information, some credible and valid information this evening. Thank you very much for joining us, both of you.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you for having me, Randy. Bye-bye.
Great. Have a good evening. Thank you very much, folks. Let me say to you folks that it was a very informative evening, and I want to say a big thanks to all of the persons who have joined us. I'm coming across a piece of video that I want to show you before I leave, though. Given that we are already over time, why not show you the video? Given that we are already over time. And Ganesh said something just now that I want to ensure that we press home, that the voters list is extremely important, and we have to, as Guyanese, if the PPP believe, if they believe that we're going back to elections with that bloated voters list, I remember, folks, I remember standing in front of GCOM, right? 2019, shouting into a megaphone, into a microphone, credible elections, credible list, credible elections. We were calling for a credible list, a clean list, so that we can have credible elections. Lo and behold, the list was the heart and the bane of the problem with the elections. Folks, we have to call for it. We have to call for it. I want to share with you this video, and when we come back from the video, we'll end our program. But let's just see if we can. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, it's a video service, and I want to share. Let the people share what is happening there. Right, share screen. Let's go, folks. We want to share this video with you. Right, we need some sound.
And a pleasant good afternoon, I think this is already transpiring right now with me. Leave the boat to season 10:30 this morning, and now it's approximately 5:45 this afternoon. Now this is the distance over here from Marriott. This is approximately about like half mile away from Marriott. Guyana, one of Guyana's most biggest and popular hotel in the country. You understand me? And this is what happening to me. So this boat has been ground. When I tell you ground, ground. You understand? Watch all this. This is ground. All this. So what's the channel? What is lead me straight to go into bottom side to go catch snapper perform trout, gilbark or shark. This is it. We did normally use it. So for years and decades, we using the same normal routine route. But this is what is really taking place in we country. As you can see from this one side here too. This is bare mud. As you can see that is bare mud is showing there. Everyone, you have to take a look at what's going on in our country, Guyana. You understand? Yes. Now ExxonMobil, which is one of the biggest oil producing in the whole world. You understand me? Because if you check for certain citation, that might get operation in many countries around the world. You understand? This is what I'm doing in front of George now, River Mount. As you can see. Here, and I don't know what kind of pipe they said they're running. You understand me? And they run, and this is what happened. Jail and throw all the money here. Now we cannot get to go work to maintain our family, and that is bad. That is totally bad. We need fishermen to go and do. When nobody can do such a thing to you in this country. Huh? What you need fishermen to do? Huh? You answer me. Everybody comment on this here, someone. This is really hard and harsh on fishermen. It's hard. Because what? Since 10:30 this morning we leave to go to sea. And this is what we put up in. As you can see, the boat is resting. The boat can't move for next 6 to 7 hour time before you come out. This is what I know. This is what I know. This is pure mud. Pure mud is here. One of the brethren go overboard for see if you get any gold or anything, but gold tight for get it. You understand? And this is what really going on. You see? This is approximately half mile from Marriott. Half mile from Marriott. This is
Yes, folks. That is what is happening. That is what is happening, folks. And as we prepare to go to the program, as we talk about the plight of the people, whether it be cost of living, to what they're doing in the indigenous communities, to the fisher folks who have been complaining, to the sugar industry, to the police force, to the public servants, the plight of the people, folks. And as all of this is happening, we have billions being spent. But where is it going? Where is it going? That is the question as we wrap up this evening. We want to say thank you very much to those persons who would have stayed. Thank you very much to those persons who would have stayed with us. As we ask, where is the oil money going? We have to ask the question every week. Every day we are asking, where is the oil money going? Folks, thank you very much for being a part of the program. Before you go, let me say that I want to give a shout out to the organizers, right, of a pageant. Let me see if I can get the information. Something's going on with my WhatsApp. Sorry. All right. I'll probably post a video, something, and my WhatsApp is not opening for some reason. But I wanted to give you some information on a pageant coming up. But I'll probably post information on it on my page. Sorry to Miss Thomas for that. Sorry about that. But I'll post a picture about it. Folks, thank you very much for joining us all over the world. We're on live again next, right? We're on live again next Sunday. And we hope that you're able to join us. We want to say thank you very much. If Tash Thomas is watching, we can call her, let her call her, if she can call my number and give the people some information before everybody goes about this pageant, because for some reason, maybe if she calls my WhatsApp, my phone is behaving crazy. But she can call me and she can give the people the information about what is coming up, the pageant and all of that. I just want to say thank you very much to all of those persons who are looking at us right now. Jamal Aziz says into their pockets. Thank you very much, Jamal, for joining us. You're always tuned in. It was a very informative program, right? We're going to give Miss Thomas an opportunity to give us a call. I think I will give her a call so she can tell you about this particular pageant and what it's all about. Good evening, Miss Thomas.
Hi, good evening, Randy.
Hi, good evening to you.
Yes, I just want to give a shout out quickly to the Miss Exquisitely Conscious pageant. It's going to be in November, and I just want to give a little bit of a teaser. It is a pageant that began in 2017. I was the first queen, actually.
Okay.
Yes, but so it was geared towards women empowerment. This year, now after COVID, we're going to also be having a segment for male empowerment.
Okay.
Right? So just look out for the flyers, look out for the information, but keep it in mind in November.
All right. Hopefully that when the flyers are out, you can send it and we can share with our folks. Thank you very much. Yeah, where will this pageant be held?
This will be in
New Amsterdam, Berbice, region number 6. Berbice High School.
At Berbice High School.
Look at me going to Berbice in November for this pageant. Thank you very much, Miss Thomas, and we look forward. No, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. I won't be entering. Thank you. Right. Folks, that's our time for this evening. As we always say to you folks, let's continue to work together. Shout out to Triple B from Belfield. Thank you very much for tuning in. My apologies. I was not feeling well on Emancipation Day. I know I was supposed to be in Belfield for Emancipation. I know you said you're cooking up and everything, but I was not feeling, I was under the weather. But you will see me there soon. You'll see me there. The good folks in Belfield. Thank you very much for that invitation. I will make it up to you guys. But folks, let's continue to work together for national development. My name is Randolph Critchlow saying goodbye and take care.